your presence throughout this program in the name of Jesus Christ. Let your purpose alone be established concerning today in the name of Jesus Christ. Thank you, Father. In Jesus' precious name, we have prayed.
I'd like to recognize some people who are in our midst this morning, this afternoon. This first meeting of GEDA. And some of you, I don't know your name, but you know your name. And some of you, I see your face, but you don't know whether you can see my face. So you started using 4 glasses. You just use 4 eyes, eh? Thank God. All right. So I think let each one introduce themselves.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm Major Professor Aku Amboson, the Professor of Peace and Public Management, and also I'm a media consultant. I lecture at GRACED. Thank you so much.
Okay. Gentlemen and ladies, my name is Dayo Nuboyi. I'm a professional engineer and I'm a businessman. I run a consultancy business and I'm based in Nakuru. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Adeboje KD Oladimiji. I'm a teacher in the secondary school. It's a Living Fountain International School.
Yeah. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is James Olivisi, a teacher, educator, a historian. I'm not a media person too. The Guardian, newspapers, and then also a school administrator, retiring now. And then I also run an initiative called Know Your History. Know Your History. Because our history is actually forgotten, so the initiative is about bringing the awareness that people, schools can actually key into it. And we started since 2010. Thank you very much.
Let me share with you briefly why we're here. It's not a long meeting. What we wanted to do is to we realized that for those of us who've been around for a while, there's people talk about business, talk about enterprise, talk about leadership, all kinds of things. As we were just discussing this afternoon about spirituality and taking the things to the marketplace, we realized that there's a need to bring together faith, enterprise, and leadership. That is what gave the inspiration to establish GRACED Enterprise Development Academy. It's a new initiative. It's trying to provide an opportunity for people to know how to connect with enterprise leadership. Before we talk about enterprise as its own, talk about faith on its own. When I say faith, I mean Christianity. And then leadership, as if they are different segments. We are trying to see whether I can have a harmony, a curriculum harmony that will raise people who can stand on their own in these areas. So our gathering here today is a gathering of purpose. And we wanted to start the project with what we call GEDA Enterprise Dialogue. The place is Masterclass. It was a dialogue because we wanted to talk about some few things and learn from those who have been in the field. Let's listen to them, what experiences they have had, the challenges that have gone through, and how they've been able to overcome it. That is what we want. And you're going to do it. You're going to be speaking from where you are because you can't leave here. So you're going to record what you have and then it will be for archiving. So we're going to have you share with us. I'm going to moderate it. And before we now do the unveiling of the school. I think that's what we are going to do. And then we'll go. It's not supposed to be a long meeting. So, having said that, what I'm going to do is that the three of you who are speaking, you're going to relocate. We'll be here. The three of you. So please, can we have them? Put your seats, come and stay here. Put your seats here. He has quite a lot of experience in the life to share with us. And Zako is a businessman as well. He's also a teacher. So there's 3 dimensions of perspective we want to bring into this conversation so that those who hear us later will understand how we are. So I'd like to give opportunity for each of you in 2 minutes. Would you like to tell us, share your experiences in business, in enterprise in Nigeria, and the challenges you've gone through, and what it has taken you to overcome those challenges? Maybe you'd like to use my microphone to speak together. Who would like to start?
Okay, I've been teaching for about 20 years now in a journalism school, and I combine with so many things. I send on, I do a lot of things. I do printing. So for my students, I normally tell them, look, if you want to excel in journalism, there are certain things you can do as a writer. You have to learn how to write, edit books, and then publish. And if you don't have a flair for that one, you can even start a bookshop. You can start a bookshop. Get books, either media or marketing, and start selling. Or video. Create a place where people will come and watch film. They pay you. You even get your news from that place. Like those who are going to cinema, photography, we tell them where there's a go for their training. If I in PTA, go to just TV jobs. And there are so many special areas where we advise them to go for training. So it's always an opportunity when you tell them what to do. It's not just about writing the news. Sometimes there's something, maybe drama, you are doing drama, advice you go into it and have. And marketing too is very important. As you are doing your work, I keep telling students that you need to have about 3 streams of income. 3 streams of income to help you, even if you are working on office, you should be able to do something. People come to you can have a POS, you can get some and that will help you. And if you are good in editing, let people drop their books to you, edit them. And that's, at the end, look, there are people who are ready to give you startup. It's okay, we're starting you with this to see whether you are going to. You can go into animal husbandry. I was telling someone today that you can keep goats, you can keep piggery. We encourage that during our church and family worship. Yes. So let me just stop here.
Thank you very much, Pastor. I appreciate the opportunity to be here. I don't know why I was considered, but I believe it's the product of relationship over time and understanding the things that I have been doing and seeing how we can bring it into this vision, which we believe by the grace of God that we go very far. Let me start by saying that entrepreneurship has to be a deliberate choice. It shouldn't be what you find yourself by accident. You have to make up your mind to be an entrepreneur. And there's a thin line between entrepreneurship and a business owner. Yeah. Entrepreneurship really must transcend from just being a business owner. Must be somebody who creates systems and able to get other people to drive his vision. So that makes you an entrepreneur. I will also say that the starting point should be that you must have, I will advise or recommend that you must have worked in the industry where you want to run a business. When you work and you serve, it gives you the opportunity to know how the business works. You also know people and network. You know the value chain. It's very important. You know the mode of communication within your industry and the people and the risk, the challenges and all of that. These are things you can't learn in school. You can't learn it by merely observing. You have to be involved in it. You have to feel the time that things go up and the time that things come down. You must understand the temperature and the temperament of your industry. So if you have been able to do that, give it 1 or 5 years is good enough. If you're a good early starter, it's fine. But if you are not, if you want to work a longer time, maybe 10 years before retirement, you can start trying your hands on the industry where you want to go into so that you don't enter too late. And so when you get in, of course you start by running a business because that's where you understand the accounting, how to get the books correctly, how to get the profit out of your sales, and how to know that high margin does not mean profitability. And for a business, profit is all that matters because that is what keeps your business going. The business must be able to run itself from its sales, from raw materials, for example, and from cost of sales, from paying salaries. That business must be able to run itself, generate the to run. But what keeps the business or the businessman happy is the ability to set aside some income for himself, for growth, and for expansion. So that makes a business very viable. And of course, the next step is entrepreneurship. It's a journey whereby you are able to turn your business, the things you do, into a process that other people can run it without you being there. So that is the entrepreneurship journey. And everybody must get to that point. Because business is actually a repetition of something you are used to doing or you know how to do well. Because it is because you have done it, that is why somebody wants you to do it for them. And so it's about repetition. So if you can repeat the value that you have given other people to the new client, then it will continue to multiply in that trend and all that. And so that is what I have to say as a way of introduction. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate you for this opportunity. And let me start by saying that I'll take it up from where you actually mentioned a point that you need a background, you need a knowledge of whatever business or enterprise you want to find yourself in. Should I say what made it possible for me to serve with the guidance newspapers? I don't know if it's permitted for me to mention the names of organizations. So from there, from that media perspective, I went into education when Abacha said we were talking too much. So I shut down then. I went to Dancehall High School, and then I continued as a teacher there. While there, AIT came up. They were also looking for presenters, and that was how I was presented to to them. I was known to them, and I became a presenter of a quiz program, educational quiz program. While there, I discovered that I was responsible for the content. I prepared questions, especially those other ones in social sciences and all that. And I discovered that even while preparing government questions, and then I will infuse like 5 out of 10 history questions, students will not know. And as at that time, 98, 99, 2000, it became a concern for me. What can we do to make history popular? And then from that 2001, I became pregnant with the idea, why don't you start something that will, that will just run like this quiz program, Wits and Chances, and then students all over the nation will actually key to it. And while doing that, I also came across what we know in America today as a National History Day. Theirs is quite different because they are there, but we needed to start from somewhere with competition. And I know Nigerians, they like competition. So we started in 2010, and we've been running National History competition till date. While doing that, I was still in school, teaching, managing. Eventually, I became a school administrator, head of school. But now, I'm retired. I have retired yesterday, right? Yesterday was my last day.
Really?
Yesterday was my last day. So I'm diving in straight into the business aspect of it. And simply, we know that historians, they like, all this academic work, but they are hiding somewhere. The public is now aware of what we know is called history today. So it is now our responsibility to take history from the classroom to the public. If you like, you may say, we are now going into public history. And we want to see how we can, popularize it and then make students enjoy storytelling. Thank you very much.
Yes, this brings us to the issue. If you notice, each person was talking about something they were doing and they are providing a link that you must have been doing something somewhere for somebody, and then an opportunity, you want to do it by yourself. Then while doing it for someone, you're learning the ropes, you're understanding the environment, the ecosystem, the community, and all of that. So it is not always easy, or rather advisable to just jump into it. So let me ask us, what mindset do you think should shift for our young people to not just think in terms of job seeking, to think of being more productive? What type of mindset do you think that has to change from just mere seeking for a job or working, thinking that when you're working in a place, you're working for that person and not seeing an opportunity to build yourself up? Who wants to take the shot? Come on.
I think fantastic foundation has actually been laid for this by my profs. As a young person, you mentioned agriculture. I will have to give some personal.
That's what I did.
Yeah. While I was still looking for admission, and I was in JOS, trying to get admission into uni JOS, my elder sister had a poetry. I learned poetry from there. I didn't say, after all, I'm going to go back to school. My elder brother in Kaduna also had this backyard, had various degrees of birds and all that. I also learned. While in Kano, I had someone who was making Kampala, like the one you're wearing. I learned that. So while at home and I was trying to get admission, I got myself busy. So I could design Kampala, I could wear birds, and then every time I traveled back to the village, I would visit my father's farm. He's my brother, my friend, he knows I love farming. So whatever place you find yourself,
don't take it as a punishment. Don't say, no, you cannot do this. No, that is what I want to do. If anything is being thrown at you, see it as an opportunity to learn. Whether you like it or not, it's still coming out to be something that will benefit you tomorrow, and then you also now use that one to create a business for yourself. Like for today now, there is no aspect of farming somebody would like to bring to me that I would say I cannot do it. In fact, the major problem I've been having is space. I still spoke with my nephew yesterday, space, just to do something. And Prof said it, but you know, that at least you should have 3 streams. Some people say 5. So you can imagine if I'm into textiles, if I'm into farming, and I also now add this printing, publishing, know your history into it, add photography into it. Remember, I used to be the official photographer. Where I was coming from. So that is it. By the time it is time for you, God will tell you and you will know. And then all you need to do is just put your cards together, and as you have said, put your structure, put systems in place so that your business can run without you being there physically 2/4/7.
Thank you, sir. I'll just follow in his trend, especially the fact that, people when they come out of school, we have to first understand that they are coming out as dependents. That's one factor. And the second factor is that the school system is also making them look like when you go out there, the world is made ready for you. I think it's the president of Nigeria that usually say that politics is not served a la carte. The same thing, opportunities are not a la carte. You have to deliberately work towards it. So for most of the young people, the mindset is that once I step out there, they are looking for me, they are waiting for me, the opportunities are there. So they have this ego coming out. However, the reality is that the mindset should be, what am I taking to that marketplace to make me sought after? Which are the things we talked about. Mainly skill. I use an analogy because every skill we think is local. Tie and dye, farming. Are they not the same things that make people professors? We have professor of food technology. And even by the time you get to the point of professor, it's just his focus area that we give you that professorship. I have professors of wood technology, furniture. We will say it's furniture maker, but it's a professor of wood technology. We have to understand that every big business comes from our culture, our tradition. The things we do that turn into an enterprise, and somebody can study it and begin to put it in a method, in a system, write it down, and then become an expert in it. Interestingly, the professors are mainly academic. Like, somebody will joke that a professor of business does not know but interestingly, the mindset is that we should have skill. And like he said, anything you find doing today, believe me, is something that is a tool for your future. If you find yourself in an environment where you can learn tie and dye, you might find in the future you might be in the paint, chemical, and all of that industry. And the fact that you have that knowledge will make a difference among your peers, don't forget that I said what you are taking out to the marketplace that makes you competitive, that puts you an edge over the other people. So I think this should be the mindset that the young people should push. Thank you.
Would you like to say something?
Yeah, mine is just an addition to. So I went to business to be enterprise. I did training in the US 2016 on biblical entrepreneurship. I came and did some training. But for us, if we are starting something, maybe for the younger ones want to go into business, you need feasibility, you have to do a study of what actually you want to do. If you don't have all those statistics, you find it difficult to go into business. And there must be mentorship too. In the church, we can mentor people and tell them what they need to learn. We plan to go into agro processing because of all we are going through as a nation, especially the crisis we are having. High employment is rampant, insecurity is everywhere. It's an opportunity for us to go into entrepreneurship. And then if we are going with the mind, making money, we ensure that issue integrity is there. People respect you. Maybe someone has a vehicle wants to give it to do, but you have to. You cannot trust it, and then what has to be done, and all these things. So these are some of the things we have to. We must have a focus for what actually we want to do. I was telling someone that if you want to go into piggery, you must get a space somewhere, possibly fence, and then train some people, because there is money in piggery today. A lot of people are patronizing the pork meat, and a lot of those small goods, people are patronizing them. One from the east and one from the Sokoto. So you can go into it, but look for someone who will give you a startup. I think it's a very good initiative. Thank you.
Yes, there's this mindset, because I have been listening to all of your experts, been using two words interchangeably: business, entrepreneurship, enterprise. Business, entrepreneurship, and enterprise. But at GEDA, we are talking about enterprise development, not entrepreneurship development. And we think, we believe that enterprise is bigger than business. We believe that enterprise is bigger than business. And what does this statement mean to you? And do you really agree that enterprise is bigger than business? Who would like to try?
Let me, because I believe that I actually defined business and entrepreneurship. The work of an entrepreneur can be termed to be an enterprise because it creates employment and it creates opportunity for growth and expansion. So the limits you cannot take. If you look at nations, I will give an example from things we can relate with easily. Look at the Indian community, even the American community. You will find out that most enterprises are family businesses. And they are able to take it from generation, hand it down from generation to generation. Look at the big names even today, the BMW, the McDonald's, in all industries you can think of. They started from a family that is committed to a particular trade or business. And they are able to. The other day somebody was talking about the coffee. There's something that makes coffee.
Yes. Coffee is produced now in Georgia. Last month
Is it Nestle?
No, not Nestle. There's an American coffee company.
Okay, we have coffee in Georgia.
Yes.
I brought some, I would have told you.
Even Kellogg.
You see, sir, they have a way of taking the coffee, they take it in, they roast it,
Yes.
add some things to it before
Packaging it.
in producing the product.
Packaging.
So it comes with that taste, that aroma.
Yes.
And nobody has ever been able to get that formula.
Just like Coke.
Yes, sir. The formula, like all the Coca-Cola company in the world, their something comes from one source.
Concentrate.
Their concentrate comes from one source.
The family business.
Yes, and that source, that is their secret. You can see. So that is enterprise. From my own understanding. I think I'll stop at that.
What is this?
Yes, yes, sir. I think an enterprise should be seen as the umbrella. It is from the enterprise, as the umbrella now that we have businesses, not just one, businesses will come under.
Okay.
Just a short.
Fantastic. Okay, so now, do you, you talk about family and all of that, but before we get into family, do you think that enterprise can be viewed as a calling or a ministry? And how can faith influence the way we build business or enterprises? You know, when I'm talking about faith, okay, let's say our faith here is common, for instance. Do you think that enterprise can be seen as a calling or a ministry? And how can we, get faith influence in enterprise that we are engaged ourselves in? Who would like to take a first shot?
I just want to look at the Igbo formula, the businesses they are doing. You mentioned a family thing. If you study the Igbo business culture, you study it to give us a different dimension of what people are doing. You see a family, they've invested, and when they are moving the person mentoring and then handing over the whole business. And it all is about faith. It's about faith. If it is not faith-based, it can't work. And there must be trust there, and you must develop it, ensure you continue to improve it, send the children back to school, ensure that they learn the trade, and you have to go through that process. If you diligently go through that process, you will know that that business will grow. So anytime I look at the Igbo business structure, it's a very big one, and we need to learn, even in the church. I keep telling people we need to learn about the secret behind it. They are just like the Jews we have all over the world. Anything they touch, it brings up something. It's just like a million touch. It brings up something, big money from them. But the whole thing is about patience. You have to be patient so that it will go to become something else. I was telling someone that if we, in my place, if we drop 50,000, give someone 50,000 in the village, we just go and maybe squander it. Yes, but if you give it to an Igbo guy, he's going to invest it. Give him 6 months. And he will return the 25 to you, and you'll be happy. So we need to cultivate that culture in the church so that people, if we are going to give people some money to maybe truly cooperative in church, it will help build their confidence. They know that there is something the church can actually help them. Is the church that is holding money today? Yes. Someone was complaining that there's no money. And I said, no. If you ask God to give you money, God is going to give you money. And churches are getting the money. But the problem is investing. Are we actually investing in our people? Look at what Dangote is doing everywhere. Dangote knows what he's doing. If we can do that in the church, people will stay back in the church. It can be part of evangelism for us.
Okay. Thank you. I will try. I will have a try. God wants us to create enterprise because God wished that we are rich. He said, "We wish above all things that we prosper." And if you look at different accounts of the Bible, when you also look at the parables that our Lord Jesus Christ gives, there is a lot that has to do with productivity. The sower, the parable of the sower, and when somebody came back or the talent, let me say. When somebody came back and brought one that there was, he said, even if you have taken it to the bank, it would have given you with an interest. So, I believe we Christians have to understand that building enterprises is part of our calling because it sustains humanity. If I will give a social example, if a man and woman exist as husband and wife, and they have nothing to do, I don't know whether love will thrive in that space. Because what you will have is anger and bickering. And a hungry man is an angry man. And so, by extension, as they have children, as the family grow, their income also have to grow. So their level of enterprise have to increase.
Just to add a little to what has been said, enterprise is a calling, and then sometimes you also not find yourself as a child of God in the world. You try to step out and address or approach a specific issue from the biblical perspective. And with that faith, you can change a lot of things. For example, there are some education organizations. They came up and they are saying they are Christian schools. And they are Christian schools simply means blending biblical principles with modern scholarship to train young ones so that they can stand out either wherever they find themselves. So, whoever is overseeing that kind of enterprise is either called or he just desires that is the path he wants to go into. To make that difference, to have that distinction from the ordinary, from what we have that is common in the society. So, you can introduce faith into it, and then you become distinct in what you do.
Thank you very much. I think we have been moving around families. It seems that family seems very central. Okay, sometimes it's said that families are consumers of wealth. Families want to consume wealth, but consumers rather than creators of wealth. We want wealth to be created elsewhere, so the families can consume it. Okay? But do you think, how can families become centers of enterprise, development, and productivity? How can families become centers of enterprise and productivity? Given from the example you've given about some, where you go to some of these businesses that we talk about that are family oriented, how can families and environment become centers of productivity and business? Yeah, who wants to take us through? How can families and environments see themselves as centers, of enterprise development and productivity? Yes, please.
Let's take it from schools. Okay. Example from schools. We discovered that many school owners, especially those ones that are elderly now, they are quietly and gently leaving the stage and handing the baton over to the children. So, and by the time you take a critical look at that, you also now discover that even the children that are also now born into that, gradually they will come up. He mentioned something, in Japan, all this Yamaha, Toyota, Dassault, and other, they are family businesses. And today, if you also now take a look into that, who are those that are major stakeholders or shareholders in those large, big organizations? They are members of their families. So, I think with the way hungry mover, stepping aside, and then the younger ones, the children, taking over, is coming in. It's also now helping the family to remain stronger and more powerful in various societies they find themselves.
Thank you very much, sir. I will also add, for the family, the question, how do we make them the center of enterprise? There are characters that shape an entrepreneur or business leader or business owner. You will discover that those traits are common among families that have grown businesses. There are sometimes people also get into the marketplace and learn. Sometimes education also gives you some leeway into it. However, the character that makes businesses are taught from those families. The discipline that makes a business to succeed are usually taught to those children, especially from the examples of the Toyotas and Co. If you take, for example, the Indian family, they are a little conservative because they always want to keep that secret within their family. You understand? So they have a lot of them. Family, this family has the own, that family has the own, that family has the own. However, they live in a close circle. You will see that a son marries, the daughter-in-law is still within there and in the family business. They do that because the character that shaped that business, they don't want somebody to come and pollute it in their own case. The Europeans are a little better because they rise above that and create a system and create law, legality, agreement to protect. But the key thing is that there are characters that shape businesses. Discipline and understanding how money works. If you don't understand how money works, how money needs to stay and remain, you will not be able to keep enough money. You will become consumer and not a producer. So this is that fact that family have to begin to teach, because the older people, whether you like it or not, by the time you get some experience in life, you will understand. If you don't know what you have done very well, you will know the mistakes you have made. If you cannot retain money in the family, you know how those money went. So you can now teach your children and also expose them to maybe business early, like learning trade, because children learn more by observing. So if you expose them early, it helps. I will give you an example. When I was working in Ibadan with a company, my boss, when he started out, there were 4 of them that came from the UK during the Obasanjo indigenization, and he's saying that they should hand over companies. Nigerians should own companies. In fact, they nationalized some of the foreign-owned companies. So they came from Europe. They studied in the UK, 4 of them, differently. They now joined OVERO. Then the OVERO became ATRO, because the OVERO is UK, is British. But that time they have to nationalize it. So there is now a Nigerian company that came out of OVERO. They call them ATRO. So they moved into that place. And from there, after some time, they also now took themselves in pairs and formed A pair formed a consultancy, another pair formed a construction company. While I was there with them, one of their colleagues that runs a construction company sent his son after he graduated to our own company to learn consultancy. Are we getting it?
Yes.
They are into construction, we are into consultancy. But you know, their colleagues now sent his son that just graduated from Bingham, what's it called, this university in the UK, to come and learn consultancy with us. He worked with us for about 5 years before going back to his father's construction company, which he runs today as the managing director. So that is a way in which we, despite the fact that we might not have that background, can begin to push our children into places where they learn and understand the discipline that comes with business and understand the money, how to understand money, how money comes, how money goes out, and every other thing that has to do with enterprise. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yes, this is quite interesting because these holidays, children are going to be on the vacation. That's all right? Good. And how many of us are pushing your children to your businesses to get into what you're doing? Let me ask this question. What role should ethical leadership and stewardship play in building sustainable enterprises? Ethical leadership. There's something you said that we need to teach the children from home the discipline, because you keep mentioning the word discipline. And also money. How money comes and how money goes. And how money can be retained, that we should be able to teach our children. So how can ethical leadership, there's only a leader, a daddy or a mommy that is ethical in leadership, that's able to transfer that discipline to the children, or even push their children where they can do that. How can we use ethical leadership as a stewardship for building sustainable enterprises? Because it's not enough to start the enterprise, you need to be sustainable from one generation to the how is it possible?
Okay, like what we try to teach, even in church we teach financial management. We bring experts to come and teach. Our leaders must learn how to save. And after investing, you cannot use the whole profit. You must put some profit back for future investment. Tithing and all this has to come in from what you've made in your investment. We build it as part of you. It's just like a code of conduct for you. You know that this is what I'm supposed to do. If I make gains here, if there's a breakthrough here, this is what I'm supposed to do. Am I supposed to bless the pastor? Am I supposed to put it back into church? Am I supposed to buy another product or invest in another business? So that's exactly what we're teaching in family worship. A lot of things that are coming up, so that our leaders will begin to learn how the habit of serving, because we're going through some difficult times now, and people to crop back. If you check your account, you may not even have anything to crop back. And if mother is not, and we encourage our wives to be managers. If you have a good wife and she knows how much you make, she's supposed to be your accountant. If she consumes the whole thing, then the whole place is gone. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, sir. I will take a dive at it in this direction. Ethic is not something that is necessarily born with you. There are people who are disciplined. Let me give you a common one that we can relate with. Some people are austere. If you give them 1 naira, if you come after 1 month, you will almost meet that 1 naira. Naturally. These are good, especially in terms of if you want to learn how to keep money. Though family might not be happy with you, but the children want you to spend it on them. However, ethic is a conduct that allow you to have a situation where you win and others win. Is fairness to yourself and to others. In engineering, which is area where I practice, our ethics tells us our responsibility to a client. If you take a brief from a client, this is your responsibility to the person. For you to be fair to the person. If the person has given you money to do this, this is your responsibility. And don't forget that it's not every customer that is fair to you. Okay? Yes. As you have let me say, a business person that wants to cheat a customer, so you also have a customer that wants to cheat you. And how does a customer cheat you? They want to do you to do more than they have paid you for. Now, ethic is how to prevent the customer from cheating you, while you are not also cheating the customer. So professionally, there are rules to follow. By the time the person engages with you, there's transparency, there's openness. What are the documents? How do you take his brief? How do you write it down? How do you communicate it to him? How do you remind him that this is what we agreed? And there are also legal and other things that goes into it. Now, when we now bring it into the home, into the family, the ethic in the family now comes to a cultural responsibility of a father or mother. Vis-a-vis their role in the home. Are they doing their role correctly? Family, parents must take up their role and take up the responsibility that goes with it. Not just in name. By that, the father could be seen to be ethical. The mother could be seen to be ethical. But when you go out of that, you are not leading the family ethically. So that is my own take on it.
That's great. Yes. Now, based on that also, because we're in the area of family, enterprise, and all of that, can we talk about issue of responsibilities within the area of capacity? How do you reconcile responsibility with capacity, even in the public space? Would you expect Mr. President to do what he does not have capacity to do? How do you reconcile in business? You want your business to grow fast, but you don't have the capacity. So what are you going to do? Capacity, responsibility. How do you reconcile it in growing enterprises? You talked about somebody starting a business and giving himself 5 years, sometimes 10 years. What if within that 5-10 years, somebody wants you to become this or do this, but your capacity does not allow you to do that? How do you reconcile capacity with responsibility or expectation? Capacity, responsibility, expectation. How do you reconcile it?
Thank you very much. I think most times what we the decisions we make, even as leaders, will go a long way, in saying whether a task being given, whether it's going to be successful or not. Let's start from, I will just cite examples from family level. God must have blessed us with children, and we must have been watching them. You know what they can do. For example, there are some flyers I did, and I'll just put it in the family platform. I know that one that would say, no, Daddy, why don't you do it this way? If you should do it this way, this is what is coming out. But if we should go ahead and do it this way that I want to do it, this is what's already I'm beginning to expect. And then there is another one that even if we just throw it to our team, he doesn't really know what his interest is somewhere. But just bring something else, like maybe construction, and then that is where his own strength is. So what I'm trying to say is this: we need to study the people we have around us. Because by the time you are beginning to put a square peg in a round hole, it cannot work. So we need just to, and for us to have it done perfectly, it must be round what now? Round peg. So that, and there are so many ways of finding out who can do the job perfectly.
Capacity, responsibility, and expectation. Capacity, responsibility, and expectation.
The capacity we have to develop it. In most instances, you send people for training. If you don't do training and follow up, at the end you won't get any result from them. Responsibility is based on that. If you're trained as a lawyer, there's an expectation is that you are supposed to be versed in legal matters that concern even the company or the investment. Sometimes we give people appointments not commensurate with their capacity. I hope you understand, and that is somebody who's posing a lot of challenges for us. You can bring some who reads history to go ahead, Minister of Health and Finance. These are some of the challenges we're having even in the nation. So we should, as a parent, we should ensure we study our children, know their weaknesses. Those who are going to empower, train them in a set of skills, and we must know their passion too. If you know their passion, you know exactly where they are heading to. Someone wants to read architecture, you can't force him. One wants to be a military officer, you just encourage him, just prayerfully allow him to go in there. And that's why I tell people, counseling is very important, and we should be able to do it from time to time. And we are using a lot of politics to discuss some of the things our country would have been far better than what we are thinking today. But politics has taken over some of the decisions we make. Wrong politics. And that wrong politics is that people are chasing money instead of thinking of what to put back to society. That has been our great undoing as a nation.
Thank you. I just want to say that I will bring the focus because the issue of that capacity has been well addressed. I will now bring it to enterprise. There is a saying in sales, or let me say in business, when you are doing modeling or business, yes, or marketing. Thank you, sir. You can't sell to everybody. You have to understand your limits. Even as a manufacturer, you know the capacity. You can't sell beyond what you produce. And you don't take order that is beyond what you will lose your integrity. So that is one thing. However, because the beauty of entrepreneurship is ability to grow. You must have the nose to smell growth opportunity. Because like everything that has life, growth is synonymous with it. So a business takes up its own life. And when it gets to the point for it to grow, if it doesn't grow, you are losing money. Because you pay more in terms of servicing what you have. Your equipment are getting older. The maintenance cost is going higher. So growth is what can push you above that. If not, you'll be selling the same, but your income is getting lower. So you must have that nose to smell of growth. And so when you see growth opportunity, there are things you can do. You can collaborate. You can get more money into your business. You can put more hands that will increase the ability to produce more. You can do a lot of things. But it's key that you must know the signal at the point where you should grow. That is, increase your capacity so that you can do more. Thank you.
So that you can do more. Now, in closing, 2 questions I'd like to ask you. What opportunities do you see for young people, women and professionals in today's economy? And how should they prepare themselves for it? What opportunities do you see? And I was telling someone that Nigeria is a place of uncommon opportunity. There's so much money to be made here. And you only need to identify one area and zero in that area, keep digging in that area, until you hit your own oil. Because the population is so massive that one single area you can find strength, knowledge, skills, and expertise, and build a system in that area, you will become grateful. So for young people and professionals and women in this environment, in this economy, how do you think they can prepare themselves for opportunities, not just waiting for it, creating opportunities for themselves? What do you think about that as we begin to wind up?
Like what is happening now, the artificial intelligence program, we can introduce it to your own area, ensure that they learn. So many young people are making money from it. They are learning very, very, very fast. So we can locate it as one of the programs for them during this holiday. Children should be able to learn, go through that artificial intelligence program. Then another issue is let them know that the investment in them is not a wasted investment. They should know that we are thinking of tomorrow. We are thinking of a crisis situation tomorrow. That's why we are investing in them. And we should encourage them to know that Nigeria is a very beautiful place. I keep telling people that if you live here, if you are able to use your brain very well, you'll be a happy person in Nigeria. Any community you go to, there are so many opportunities there. Maybe someone wants to be an Okada driver. We are not investing in Okada. So many of us, especially the church, is not investing in it. One of our discussions, I told them, immediately I told them, most of the Okada here, there must be Boko Haram. When there's crisis, I'm just mentioning so that they understand. When there's crisis on the road, they attack you immediately. But if you're a Christian, you have to do it the Christian way. A Christian doesn't start fighting. I hope that our own attitude is quite different. So we should be able to learn, like the ethics mentioned, is very important for us. But let them know that any business they put their hand is a good business, and they should factor God into that business. If God is not in any business we are doing, it will fail completely. That's my own thinking about business.
Thank you very much. Passion is something that we should not also play with. Now that we are on holidays, we have the opportunity of learning even just for 4 weeks. Learn more about that area where you have a passion. And then I know of someone who had MASCOM. Today, she's a big person when it comes to, let me call it catering. Yeah. processing foods and all that. And then what happens to the last one that you want to speak to read? Yeah. But today, and she's having others here and there. So seize this opportunity of these holidays and go for more training, and then you perfect your skills as you work more, or as you have more orders, and then you need to, and then be open to criticism. Let people, once you sell anything, ask the people to give you feedback. What is it that you have found about this product? You find, is it good? And what do you want in my next production? So all that will help you to actually be perfect in whatever you do.
Thank you, sir. Nigeria, I gave a lecture, I think 2 months ago, talking about the opportunity. Especially, I was talking to an engineering group. When I was researching, we discovered that Africa has 65% of the age distribution of Africa. They are below 35 years of age. And so Africa has about 600 million young people. 600 million young people. These statistics is a pointer to something. If you are selling or if you have a product to sell, who will you rather sell to? Who will buy from you? So you will see that last week I was in a focus group with Airtel. And we discovered that if you discover yourself, you will see that the GSM companies are taking more of your money from data than from calls.
Yes.
But 10 years ago, 90% of their income is from voice. But now, 90% of their income is from data. So what does it tell us? It shows the demography that is spending and what they are spending on. So it goes to say also that there are about 3 categories that influence where people should go to, whether you are young or you're old. One of which is technology. There is an argument recently about 3G, 5G. Somebody said, they brought 6G, 10G is here, now we turn everybody to robots. But for us who are in that sector, we understand that the industry, especially in times of information technology, because the time of information technology is an icebreaker. You know, if you remember, we started from the Stone Age when man would strike 2 stones together to make fire. We went into Iron Age where we cut iron to plow the field and get farming. We went into the computer age from there, where we produced the supercomputers to make things run very fast. Then we now went into the information communication age. We actually went into the internet age before the information communication age, which we are now. And it means that the technology gets obsolete the moment it's out in the market. So things change very fast. And so now, the issues of data, big data, is what is out there. So our young people must get the skill in all these areas. Because right now, young people around the world, they are in their house and they are making more than their parents are earning in salary, going to work and coming back every day.
That's true.
Because they have the skill to manage data, to prompt AI, and to do all this with the today technology demands. So we must see the technological trend and position our children. Let's stop discouraging them and say AI is evil, this thing is evil, that one is evil. Whether it's evil or not, you are inside it. And you cannot, in fact, your phone is AI. Many people don't know that their phones are recording them. So why don't you throw the phone away? You see. So the other one is social. I talked about the demography, which this one is easy to bring through to us. If you're in Karo, if you are running a business or you have a skill in some area, look at the demography. How many people are here? Is it more of family? Is it more of companies? Check it. Then the people that can pay for you is what you sell to. Don't put a cloth in your shop that will take 3 months for somebody to say, how does it look like? Put something that the young people who are more, who pass where you are more, can see, hello, we want this. Don't be stuck in your mindset. Look at the demography, understand it. We have to continue to understand that these are the things that bring the money. No business exists without the customer. The idea might be in the mind, the greatest idea is in the mind of the business person, but the customer determines whether you survive or not. Then, of course, we have industrial revolution, just as I have mentioned. Every 2 years, they are changing trend and industry. Our young people have to be trained for those industries. There are times when you can just read medicine and your medical doctor is the breadwinner in the family. But it's no longer the case. Those guys who are into IT make more money than medical doctors now, and even accountants. That is what it is. Statisticians who have certification, they make more money than medical doctors. In fact, some medical doctors that are making money are the ones who are into medical statistics and data. Those who are forecasting HIV propagation, those who are doing ringworm, this thing, who are working on the data, who are working on those statistics, they make more money than those who are sitting in the hospital treating patients. So, I think these are the things we have to bring into the church. We have to bring into the worship area and begin to get our young people to understand where they should put their focus and attention. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let's put our hands together for them. As we begin to round off, I'll round off with this. Thank you very much. GEDA was established. GEDA is established to connect faith, enterprise, and leadership and stewardship. In 1 minute, what message would you like to leave with everyone who is considering joining GEDA? We want to connect faith, enterprise, leadership, and stewardship. It's a new concept, but that concept has to be brought to the marketplace. Someone who wants to come and register and attend this academy, what one word would you like to give to the person as a word of encouragement or discouragement? Start from you.
I think what we need is maybe another serious market. The discussion will be very, very fruitful. It's just making the contract and letting them know that there is something in the offering that will brighten their future if they're coming together to do their training, to become better entrepreneurs. And since there's a startup for them, they'll be very, very encouraged and will rush in to come and pick it up. If you give someone, if you started a business with 60 or 50,000, it's something at this very precious time, and it's very encouraging. So it's best, it's good for us to inform the children, let them come and register as quickly as possible, and be part of the organization. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Faith, enterprise, leadership, stewardship. These are things we have spoken about today in this forum. And I think this is what makes a balanced person. You are able to apply faith to enterprise. It means you don't hurt people because you want to be happy. And leadership means that you can take people from nothing and make them achieve the purpose for which God has made them. It's part of the calling of a leader. And stewardship is seeing yourself as not being superior to anyone, but a servant to the living God who has created you and given you the breath that you breathe and enable you to do all things. He said, is there anything that is given except it comes from above? So I think this institute is the one that is building a balanced person for excellence, and everyone should be part of it.
Well, I would like to say, as a way of rounding up, saying that you want to stand out in the marketplace, GEDA is the way. So dare to stand out.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the first edition of GEDA Enterprise Dialogue, and with us today we've had Mr. James Onimisi, who is the history entrepreneur. He runs the Know Your History initiative, and we've had Mr. Engineer Dayo Oluboye, who is engineering consultant, a businessman, and he's been with us discussing about how possible it is. We also have Major Professor Akko Amberson. He's a lecturer, he's a business consultant, he's a teacher, and he's also been talking to us about the importance of enterprise, entrepreneurship, and business. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome and appreciate these men who have given us the first shot of GEDA Dialogue. We will welcome you again when we come. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you. Of the Father, and of the Son,
Amen.
and of the Holy Spirit.
Amen.
Let's put our hands together as we cut it, yes, and unveil GEDA. Today, 1st of August, 2026. To the service of God and the benefit of humanity. Amen. Congratulations. 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 Good. Congratulations. 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 You were there the day it was inaugurated. Congratulations. Okay, so.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. As we wind down, please can you give them something? Let's wind down quickly. We have tried, that's all we wanted to do today. And as you can see, our vision is very simple.